Hello, my name is Brian Miller. This is the date is Sunday. It's February 5th, 2023. It's currently 11:06 a.m. and this is going to be my first edition of my stock investing channel. This is going to be the first episode here, and every time I do an episode, it's going to be basically following my investment decisions in stocks and securities. So I've recently just sold some stock and I'm looking for a new pick, and I've isolated a new opportunity, and we'll be discussing that opportunity shortly. But since this is the first episode of my show here, what I want to do is I want to go over a little bit of my track record. Since September 30th, I've bought one, two, three, four, one, two, three, four positions, and I've won on every position. I've made profit on every single stock position I've made since September 30th. And I want to just go over those positions and how I track data and isolate good stocks, and how I trade, so you understand what I'm doing. So I use, like most savvy investors, I use fundamental and technical analysis to make sure that I get into good positions. So to understand what fundamental analysis is of a stock, fundamental analysis is basically looking at companies and finding companies that are good companies, that are doing good revenue, that have good brand reputation, that are making good earnings, that are making good profits, that are companies that are good, strong companies. And what I like to do to isolate a position is I always like to invest in companies that have good brand reputation. That's just my style, because I have faith that a company a company that has good brand reputation is going to be a strong long-term investment, is going to be a strong company to look into, is going to be a company that you could have faith in when investing in that position. You still want to time the trade based on the charting and the technical analysis. But usually the way I'm getting my picks these days is I watch CNBC. I find a company that they're isolating that has brand reputation, and then I go from there, and then I watch the charts and find the right time to buy and the right time to sell. I'm more of a short-term trading kind of guy, so I like to get in, get out, and find a new position. Companies with brand reputation, what I mean with that are companies that you know of that are popular, and they vary from sector to sector. You have the tech sector, where you have companies like Apple, and you have Microsoft, and you have Google, and you have Meta, or you have the retail sector, where you have all the good clothing brands that you see at the mall. Those are all companies with brand reputation. Or you have all the cell phone companies. You have T-Mobile and Verizon, or you have the financials with brand reputation, the Bank of Americas of the world, the J.P. Morgan Chases of the world, the credit card companies, Visa, MasterCard, American Express. You get what I'm saying. Those are the companies that I like to invest in, companies with brand reputation. Now, the other thing I like to do is, after I've isolated a position due to fundamentals, is I like to go over technical analysis to find the best time to buy the stock. So what I use is and I'm going to flip the camera now, I use TD Ameritrade, and they have a program called Thinkorswim, which is great charting. The charts look like this, and you can add all the technical indicators. So I use a variety of technical indicators to make my trades. This is called the MACD right here, and this is very good for timing the trades of the investment, and we can go over that as I tell you about trades in the future. I use support and resistance levels. I use a number that's not on the chart, but you could pull up what the number is through studies here, and it's called RSI, Relative Strength Index. It's a number that determines if a stock is overbought or oversold, basically telling you when is a better time to buy, when is a better time to sell. I use market capitalization, which tells me how strong a company is, how much liquidity that company has, how much money that company has, how big that company is, and if it's a risky investment or not. Also, I use to determine risk as well. I use something called PE ratio, which is also a number, and that number also determines how risky an investment in is. So before we go over my next pick, which I haven't bought yet, what we're gonna do is I want to show you a little bit of my track record. So like I was saying before, I've made 4 trades since September, and I've won on every single trade. So I'm gonna pull up the chart on the first trade that I made here, and I bought Citibank. So everybody knows Citibank. I bought that on September 30th. And this is the chart for Citibank. It's currently trading at $50.86. And let's see, what is September? So here's the chart. This is August, September. So I bought around September 30th. I bought here when it was trading. I bought it at $42.38 a share, somewhere around here. I mean, that's showing September 26th, but I bought it September 30th. It was trading at $42.33 a share when I bought it, and I sold it on November 11th, so around here-ish. Sold it around here, and I sold it at $49.09. That was the first trade. Also around that time frame, on October 28th, I bought another bank. Bought stock in JP Morgan Chase around here at $125.50 a share, and I sold again same day around November 11th. Actually, let me pull up the chart for this. My apologies. So that was Citibank. This is JP Morgan Chase, symbol JPM. And so anyway, I bought on October 28th, around here-ish, and I bought them, the price was $125.50, and I sold on November 11th, right around here-ish, and I sold that at $135.59. The next trade I made after that is I bought Meta, which is the new name for Facebook. And I bought Meta right after that on November 14th. So this is the chart for Meta. And I bought on November 14th right here. And November 14th, when I bought Meta, it was worth $111 a share. Then I bought it again, some more shares on November 28th around here, and it had dipped down to $109, so I bought some more. And then 2 days later, on November 30th, I sold the position out because the stock went up to $114.75. So that was November. And the next trade I made, which is the trade I just sold last week, was Cummins. They do engines and car parts and things like that. And their symbol is CMI. Cummins Inc. Very nice chart on this one. And I bought them on December 5th, right around here. And I bought at $246.89 a share. And I sold them very recently. Held them for a little bit because it took some time for it to go up, but it went up. And I sold around February 2nd at $256.93. So those are my recent trades. So the next position I have isolated for you guys is Apple, and I got this off of CNBC this morning, and they're saying Apple is looking good for the long term. It's just recently made a jump up. It's been on a dip. Oppenheimer has put a price target on Apple for $170 a share. It's currently trading at $154.43. I'm not recommending you buy it right at this moment because, as you can see, it's not on a dip. So I'm recommending to watch it, and you want to kind of buy it at a support level, which is around where I'm putting the mouse over here. So if it dips back down to those levels, you want to watch this. I'll give you one technical indicator today to understand. This is called the MACD. So at this point, the MACD is crossed over, which means it's on an upswing. You generally want to buy when the MACD is here. So let me put my mouse. So on the chart, you want to buy when the MACD is here, because then you're getting it on the dip. Right here is confirmation that it's going up, but it's already kind of went up, and it's a good possibility people are going to take very short-term profits and it's going to dip again. So you're going to want to watch the stock before you buy, and that's what I recommend you always do. You watch, you pick a position, but you don't buy it right away, and you watch the price action, and you get it on a short-term dip. But they were saying that CNBC was saying revenues for the new iPhone 14 and everything like that, and their computers and stuff have actually been down. Sales on it have been down compared to other years, but revenues overall have still been very, very good for Apple. And short term, it's probably gonna, like they were saying, it probably is gonna dip here. But Apple is currently trading at a low price, and people love to buy Apple when it's at its discount. It's at a low price for Apple. Very recently in January, it was as low as $124. So we do have a price target here of 170, and I think it was very clear what Oppenheimer had said is that Apple is still going to be a very good long-term investment, so I think we could feel confident to buy this position when it goes back into a discount mode again. So on the next dip, and I would watch the price action here and make a purchase of that stock when it dips again. Make sure again that this MACD here not crossing over like that. These two lines, you want to make sure these two lines are in this position when you buy here. So that's how you know you're buying on the dip, as you see that corresponds with the dip. We'll go over some other things as time goes by, but they were saying that Apple's revenues are still hitting all-time highs. Their sales of their iPhone 14 and stuff like that have been down compared to other years and other models and things like that. So short term, it could be the stock is gonna, could be, staying lower priced on a dip, but long term, the investment they're saying is still a solid investment, and the price target again is 170, and this is from Oppenheimer and CNBC. And on my next video, we'll discuss more technical indicators. I actually have to go now because I'm busy working my full-time job here on a Sunday, and I have an appointment in literally 10 minutes, which I'm very well prepared for, but still, I would discuss more technical indicators if I had more time. Please tune in to my next investment. I'll make another episode as soon as I buy and sell this position for a profit, and that would be my 5th trade in a row since September that I have won on. So everybody have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll tune in for my next one. Take care.